Welcome back everybody to Willie's Copper Kitchen. Today what I'm going to show you is how to make a loaf of white bread, monkey bread, and a few cinnamon rolls, all using Rhodes pre-made white dough. Now when I got this was in the freezer section. I came home, I set it out, and I let it set and rise for about, I would say that was about 5 hours ago. So now we're going to go over here and I'm going to show you what they look like after they've rose. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So what I'm going to do for that white loaf bread I told you about, I'm going to take this pan. I'm going to spray it down with olive oil. Spray. Just like that. Now I'm going to take it. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to fold it at the ends. Fold it right in there. Now I'm going to put it to the side and let it rise. And I'm going to go ahead and put a dish over it or a towel over it or something over it to cover it up. There we go. So now what we're going to do is start making our monkey bread. So I'm going to go ahead and take this pan here and I'm going to spray it down with Pam also. Now what makes my monkey bread a little bit different than everybody else's is I'm going to treat every single ball like it's a cinnamon roll. It's literally going to have the same ingredients as a cinnamon roll, except I'm going to make them into little balls. So I'm going to take this one, smush it down a little bit. Take this one, smush it down a little bit. And you can feel that top layer, a little bit of, you can tell it's been laying out, airing out. So what I'm using is cinnamon, a pinch, and I mean just a pinch of nutmeg. You do not want to overdo the nutmeg. It's a very powerful spice. So when I say pinch, I'm not talking pinch. I'm talking a little bit, little tiny bit. Actually, let me show you. I have one made up, but I want to show you how, you use lots of cinnamon. And use a nice fresh cinnamon. If your cinnamon's been open for a while and it's seen better days, throw it out. Get fresh. It'll make a world of difference, especially with using the shortcut of using Rhodes dough bread. But I'm telling you, no one will know. No one will know that this is a pre-store-bought bread unless you tell them. And if someone asks you, just, I made it at home. Because you are making it at home. Now this is just, look. There. No more than that. Just a pinch. I'm just going to take my finger, mix it up. And I already had some pre-made, so I'm just going to mix them together right now. And I'm going to take a ball. That's my oven, everybody. Let me know that it's pre-warm. And I'm going to take the ball. I'm going to put my thumb in it like that. I'm going to take a pinch of butter. I'm going to stick that butter right in there. Take the extra out. Then I'm going to take a little bit of this spice, cinnamon, nutmeg mixture. Put it right in the middle of that. Can you see that? Right in the middle. And then I'm going to start working that ball. And then I'm going to just roll it around in my hand. And you can feel that butter come right to the surface, and that's what you want. That way, every single bite you take will be just a nice bite of lovely cinnamon roll bread. They call it monkey bread or pull-apart bread. And you're going to repeat that over and over and over and again. Okay, so what we have here is a bunt pan, and we're going to go ahead and take some olive oil and spray in that all along the sides. No, you don't want to, you don't have to overdo it. It's just right there. Okay, so what I've done is I've already made the balls, and now I have the sugar right here. And what I'm going to be using is brown sugar. I know most of y'all use granulated white sugar, but through the internet, I came across a recipe that said she used brown sugar, so I gave it a try, and I found that it actually worked and it was great. So I'm going to go ahead and start using brown sugar. So I have the butter, cinnamon, nutmeg mix right here in this ball, and then I'm going to open it up again, just like that. I'm going to take a pinch of this brown sugar, put right in there. You can hear that brown sugar falling in the pan, but that's just fine. That'll melt and just make more of a caramel glaze on the outside of your monkey bread. I'm going to go ahead and take it and roll it. Drop it right in there, just like that. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be precise. Okay, so what I'm going to use now is I'm going to take some butter, about a half a stick, stick it in the pan. And what I've been using for this is Land O'Lakes unsalted butter. I'm going to go ahead and spoon me in a couple of cups of brown sugar. So that'd be about a couple cups right there I did. And then I'm just going to consistently stir it while it's cooking. You don't want it to burn. And then I'm going to add cinnamon to this, lots of cinnamon. And my secret ingredient, vanilla extract. Okay, so I brought the brown sugar, the Land O'Lakes unsalted butter, and the cinnamon. At this point, you see how it's starting to boil? That's right where I want it. Okay, so now I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to put it over the top of this like this. I'm telling you guys, this makes a world of difference when it comes to your monkey bread. And if you're going to use Rhodes dough, which I did, try to use a little bit better product for your spices. Use McCormick's or something good like that. Or Tones. Tones is a really good product too. But anyway, you see how I did that? I just covered it like that. And you can see how it is. Now I'm going to cover that and let that set for about 1 hour. Okay, everybody, so the monkey bread is rising. The white loaf is also rising. And now I'm going to start on those cinnamon rolls. So I'm going to slightly flour down my countertop. Not too heavily. You don't want the loaf to pick up too much of that flour. I'm going to set it right there. I'm going to turn it over. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to roll it out with a rolling pin or anything. I'm just going to start pulling it. You really just have to, love on it. Pull it gently. It's a nice, delicate piece of bread. So I have that about where I want that right now. So now what I'm going to do is take my butter, take a little bit of that butter, put it on there, and I'm going to spread it by hand. You can't really do it with devices or any kind of gadgets. It's really the only way you can do it. You want to make sure that you get it all over the whole surface of your bread. And it's very soft in room temperature, so it spreads really, really well. And you see it didn't take that much. Just a little dab will do you. And once again, this is a great, great recipe for people who are a little shy from baking, or you just don't have the time to make the dough, or you don't feel confident enough to make the dough. And quite frankly, this is a nice fast approach, and it's almost a can't fail type of situation. So I'm going to cover the top of it with cinnamon, and I want it fully covered. And then I'm just going to kind of tap it into my bread. Okay, and now we're gonna get sugar. I'm using brown sugar. I know a lot of people use white sugar, and that's fine. If you want to, you can. Once again, use it heavily. Don't be very sparingly with it. You want this to be nice and sweet. And me doing it like this to my hands, I'm making sure that there's no clumps or anything in the brown sugar, because brown sugar has a tendency to kind of clump up if it's a little bit on the overside. This is fresh brown sugar I have, so I don't feel any clumps in it at all. But doing this with my hands would, in theory, take out any clumps if there were any. And you can tell, since I have it, just since it's been on the counter, it's gotten a little bit more relaxed. And as it warms up and you put your butter on it and your cinnamon and your sugar, you see that's coming a little bit bigger. I don't want to stretch it too big. These aren't going to be gigantic cinnamon rolls, but they'll be, they won't be little tinies either. So what we'll do is on this end, you want to take your thumbs like this, and you want to take your two fingers like that, and you want to stretch it, and you want to turn it in. Hold it with your thumbs, take it, stretch it, pull it, take this, stretch it, roll it, pull it. And then you just stretch it and keep doing that all the way down you just keep on doing that all the way down the roll. I know at this point a lot of people will crimp this right here. I don't do that, because when I cut the cinnamon rolls this way, I want them to be able to expand as much as they possibly can. And if you crimp that, it'll tighten that up and it won't allow it to rise to its full potential. So I'm just going to push it in right there. I misplaced my pan. It was right behind me. It can happen. Wait till you get older. So I'm going to take my pan here that I'm going to put my cinnamon rolls in, and I'm going to spray it down with olive oil. You can use anything that you want to, Crisco, olive oil, whatever you got. You can, if you don't have the spray, you can take butter and coat it down really well like that. So on this first end, I'm going to cut it off just like that. You see that? Nice swirl right there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these. Now, a lot of people, if you're precise or you want an exact amount, a lot of people would take this and cut it in thirds, and then they would cut it again. And I'm not that worried about how many I get, so I'm just going to cut it by eye. And I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to set it in my pan like such, and do it again. And I'm going to space them out, probably I would say, It's probably a 1/4 inch. Let's just stick to my countertop. You ain't gonna have it. And so what we'll do is we'll cover them up and we'll let them rise for about an hour. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we've taken our white loaf out of the oven. We've taken our monkey bread out of the oven. I got the cinnamon rolls in the oven. So we're going to take our top off here and see what we got. Oh my goodness, look at that. Is that not just beautiful or what? I'm even going to get a close-up of that. Look at that. Does that not look just absolutely delicious? Look at that. It just tastes wonderful. And what we have over here is our white loaf bread. Hear that? It's the sound of a nice loaf. We just pop that right out of the pan like that. Put it over here by our bread. And as soon as our cinnamon rolls are done, we can place them. Okay guys, so here we are at the ending stages of making our delicious cinnamon rolls. Oh my, I can tell you how wonderful it smells in here. The aromas of cinnamon, I just absolutely love it. Okay everybody, so we're coming to the end of stages of making our cinnamon rolls. What we're going to do is make us some powdered sugar icing. And what we have here is 4 cups. That's loud. Sorry about that, but it's only I can get it out of there. So I'm going to set that behind me. Set the powdered sugar over there. And it doesn't really matter what type of powdered sugar you use, whatever type of powdered sugar you want to use. When it comes to powdered sugar and using liquids, it does not take a lot at all. It takes very little. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put it here in my little measuring cup because I do not want to overdo it. And if you want to use traditional milk, 2%, skim milk, that's all personally up to you. I find that this almond milk, vanilla almond milk, it actually works really good, and it's, I don't know how, but it makes the powdered sugar even more sweet. So I'm going to add that. And I'm going to start turning this. Okay, so my secret ingredient when I'm making powdered sugar icing is I like to use just a splash of vanilla too. It doesn't have to be pure vanilla. And since I'm using the almond milk vanilla, it's going to even make it better. Whisk it up nice and good. You don't want your vanilla to be in one spot and not the other. So now what I'm going to do is get a spoon, and I'm going to spoon the icing onto my cinnamon rolls. You want to make sure that you let your cinnamon rolls come down to room temperature or below. You don't want to stick them in the refrigerator, but you definitely want them to cool down, because if you don't, the icing will just melt right down and you won't even know that there's icing on it, and it'll just have a big old soggy mess on top. Okay, so I've drowned the cinnamon rolls in icing. My theory is you almost can't really have too much icing on a cinnamon roll. It's just not possible. Okay, so there you have it. We've made white loaf bread, we've made monkey bread, and we've made cinnamon rolls, all out of Rhodes dough. And it really is one of the best tasting pre-made breads that I've ever come across. And if you haven't got time to make it from scratch, or you don't feel comfortable enough to take that on, I really recommend Rhodes dough. Oh, what is that over my shoulder? Oh, look, it's a subscribe button. And if you don't mind hitting that on your computer or your phone, I would be much appreciative. So hit the like and subscribe, and until next time.